Well, hello there, fantastic folk of every kind. This is Shams Nelson from Fantastic Anatomy, and this is the second episode or part in the character design study series, where I choose different characters that are really popular, iconic, or just my favorite characters, and talk to you guys about why I think it is such a successful character design. So, in today's episode, we're talking about Wolverine. Now, Wolverine is a pretty cool character. I don't know why he came to mind, but yeah, he's just. I was trying to think. Okay, what first? If I think iconic characters, what pops into my mind first? And Wolverine was just popped in there. He's not even a favorite character of mine, I would say. But now that I think of him, I really like him. The more I've thought about it, the more I really like him. So let's see what makes Wolverine so cool. Now, Wolverine has had a few costumes. I got this little chart off geekology.com, and they have a whole page where it shows like all the costumes that Wolverine's ever like had. It's pretty cool. Um, so apparently the brown one had the longest run, quote unquote. But if you look here, like these two, Classic Yellow and Classic Yellow 2, they're basically the same one. And that's what I think of. That's what I think of when I think of Wolverine. He's the classic Wolverine in my mind. I mean, that's why he's called Classic Wolverine. And I remember the brown guy, so I'll talk about him a little bit and then go into more details about why the classic costume is so classic. And I'll do a little drawing while I talk about that. But yeah, if you take the classic costume and put them together, that's like 170 days, so that's more. So it makes sense, I guess. All right, so here's the brown costume, which I think is really cool. One of my favorite parts about this design is this big triangular shape, which you'll see actually continues onto the back, and that just I think is just such a strong shape, and it emphasizes his strength because stereotypically, when you draw like masculine figures, it's you want this kind of triangular shape because you got the pecs, and so it reinforces that they put this and it reinforces the shoulders too, which are a big, strong muscle group. So this whole area right here, just the big triangle. And let's go to the next one. And what I'm going to talk about later is how important it is that Wolverine has this a large developed back. The strength of his back is the strength of I think when it comes to men, like a real man, he's got to have a strong back. I mean that's why there's that saying, like strong back or whatever. I think there's a saying. Anyways, but this guy, I mean, look at how barrel chested and especially in the back area it is, and this helps to reinforce that. Um, I mean, that's going to be a huge part of the character design, and I'll get more into that in a second. But so here's a classic Wolverine. Here he is in his first big appearance. Apparently, there was another appearance where he like before this, but this is where he was like featured as a main character, and he's got this classic outfit. Ears are a little smaller, but more or less, it's pretty similar to what we're seeing here. And I really like this image because it really shows the grittiness. He's got his really hairy arms here. He's a Wolverine. He's a beast, and even though smoking's bad for you and all, I mean that's actually good adds to his character because he's reckless. That's part of his character. He's reckless. He's like a Wolverine will in the wild. They'll like take down like a elk or something. I don't know about an elk, but like a large animal, way bigger than they are, and they're just ferocious and have no fear, and are reckless. And smoking's reckless because it hurts your body, and so it kind of like goes with this character and his nonchalant, like I don't care, attitude. And that's why I also like this image because look here. On one hand, he's got really tensed up, like he's kind of like gruff, like like a tense guy. But on the other hand, he's giving you the thumbs up, and his eyes are kind of serious. So it kind of shows like deep inside he's laid back, he's not that serious, but like outwardly he's kind of like gruff and hard to approach, which I think is true to the Wolverine character, um, at his heart. So here's a classic turnaround, and we'll see this later. and I'll point out details about his costume and stuff that I think helped make him successful. But while we're here, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that round barrel chest and why that's so significant. I mean, look at this right here. This is like a perfect oval. It's crazy. And when I'm learning art and stuff, I always hear like, okay, shape's so important, shape's so important. And I never really like kind of took it to heart. I mean, I guess I did, but like I'm always thinking like, okay, let me build the back from like, okay, so here's the spine, like we've got a scapula, and then here are these muscles, like I'm building it like muscle by muscle. Instead, if you really look at this, like you can't build this muscle by muscle because it fits just, I mean you could, but it fits too perfectly into that circle. It makes a lot more sense to start off with the circle and then come in here and be like, all right, so let me make everything fit, and blah blah blah. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out because this is we can see it clearly here in this image. Here's some fan art that I found that I decided to throw in. Um, so look at this guy. This is not Wolverine. Like, you can just tell. You can just like if I saw this guy and he's like, "I'm gonna kick your butt," I'd be like, "All right, let's see." Like I think I could take this fool. He looks kind of. He's not very intimidating. He looks kind of nerdy. But here, look at this guy with his huge. Like he's got that round back. You can't see it as much because of where you're. I mean, because it's behind, obviously, but you can still see that large barrel shape. And I don't know. I just like this piece. I guess it's from this guy, flapjoy.deviantart.com. I like his style and his work. I just discovered it when I was making this video, but I'll check him out later. So uh, you guys can check him out if you want to. But check this out. So wait, let me get rid of this for a second here, and so watch what happens if I just go here and I just stretch him out. Boom. That's like 80% better already. I mean, let me see. Let me make it a little more extreme even. Let's see if it'll actually, yeah, I think it still works. Like, honestly, the only thing you'd have to do, let's try it. I think this might work. Oh, hold on. One moment. Boom. Okay. So let's say we make the head a little more proportioned so it's not wide. I mean, that's not too shabby. You got this big round barrel chest. It looks significantly better than. Oh my gosh. Where did it go? That. Come on. Alright. Like, hey, what's up? You wanna fight? And this guy's like, what's up, G? Going down. Alright. So that's something to keep in mind. I wasn't gonna talk about Wolverine without his costume, but I needed to talk about the Wolverine hair. I don't know if you've ever woken up looking as fly as this gentleman right here and decided to have your little mist, whatever that is. But like when you wake up and you got your hair puffed out like on these sides like this, that's Wolverine hair. At least that's what I call it. I say, oh my gosh, I got Wolverine hair today. And that speaks to the iconic nature of Wolverine and his hair and the shape of his like head costume thing. I mean, this is kind of ridiculous. Look at this. His hair is blue, just like in his costume. Where is the? Well, he's got his blue things on his. It's like echoing it exactly. It's almost as if like it fit inside of that thing inside of the little flaps in his costume, but that's not true because you can see they're flat and that makes no sense. Here he's blue again, and this seems almost to have like a slight tint of blue. I mean, it's cool that they had to echo the character, had to echo the costume. So no matter what, you're like, oh, that's Wolverine. Like if you see him in costume or out of costume, it's a smart design decision. Even though, like realistically, I guess doesn't make sense. But honestly, people overlook this stuff, especially in something like X-Men, where stuff's crazy. Like, okay, fine, it's blue, whatever. It's at least a dark color. It's not as noticeable. I think X-Men Evolution did a really great job, though, working this in because X-Men Evolution, there, if you don't know the show, they're in high school. It's X-Men, but they're in high school, and Logan's obviously a bit older, but apparently that's not his real name, by the way. But anyways, whatever. That's what everyone calls him. So Wolverine here, he's in, and it's kind of like toned down, or I guess it fits in, it's supposed to fit into like a real life world, and I guess they wanted to tone down the hair a little bit, and so this is such a great solution because they put these flaps in the front here, so it kind of distracts, so you're not just looking at that shape. But then from the side or even from the front, you can see you catch the little. It's believable. It's sweeping back here and it comes up, and I love how the hair behind here goes down, so it really echoes the costume, but it's a lot more understated. So I thought that was cool, and I just wanted to mention that. And oh yeah, the last thing I noticed when I was looking at these images, which I never noticed before, which is interesting, is that check out the eyes on these costumes. The eyes are like moving. The mask is like, it's almost like the mask and the eyes are molded into one. There's no pupil, so it still gives you that impression that, oh, it's a mask, but like the eyebrows move and stuff. Like when the eye squints, the whole mask squints. Well, while if it was a real mask, that obviously wouldn't happen. It would just be the holes, and you'd lose a lot of the expression. So one thing I'm starting to come across while doing these character studies is the that sometimes design trumps realism, and often a lot of times. So here it's not like realistic to have that happen with the eyes, but it just, without that the design would really suffer. And here, look at how this side is squished. Um, I think a little more than the angle would suggest with the perspective and stuff, personally. And I think that's kind of it's a design decision to reinforce the squinting of this eye and the big openness of this eye. The costume itself is almost malleable to his personality, and I mean they do this in 3D, but that's one of the reasons why I love 2D animation, because you can go there and you can do it subtly and you can mess with stuff. Like you couldn't do this maybe from a certain angle, but from the front it's fine if it's 2D. But if you have a 3D model, you're kind of stuck, or you have to mold it. I don't know. Actually, I don't know too much about 3D, and I think they probably do that stuff. But yeah, I love that kind of thing. So yeah, now I'm gonna start doing a little drawing of him, and while I'm sketching, I'll just talk about the different things that I think make his character design so great. So here we go. And all I'm doing is using the round brush, and I'm going to turn the opacity on and the flow, whatever, so that I can go from thick to thin. It's pretty basic. Alright, so let's obviously start with this big old barrel chest. I was talking about how important that is. Okay? And I'm going to do them from like a 3/4 angle. Um, One thing that I noticed, first thing I'll say about him, is this repeating shape. I think I made it a little too big. Is this repeating shape, this one right you're seeing right here. Alright, I'll show you in just a sec. So then you have like his crotch area, blah blah blah. And then here, his thighs, look how round this is, and then it goes straight into goes straight down. Like that kind of thing where the knee is. And then it comes out. It's still making too big. We're gonna start with like an action line for his back. So that's one thing also, that when I was saying like a big back is important to like convey manliness and strength. Um, I'm really having trouble centering this guy. That's something I got to work on. Uh, is that first off, when you have big back muscles, it pulls your shoulders back, and that creates good posture. It looks manly. You got this barrel chest coming out. You know, when you have it's really your back. Like you can have a big chest, but if your back muscles are small, your chest muscles are gonna like pull your shoulders in because they're pulling in this way. That's the job of the chest muscles. So you're gonna kind of be like hunched over a little bit like that, and it doesn't look as impressive or powerful. But then when the back is curved like this, then the chest muscles are pulled back actually this way, interestingly, but the chest is expanded, and um, the rib cage leans back a little bit and stuff, and basically it just looks way more like heroic and manly. Um, let's see, and then you put the pecs on top of there like that. Something. So having a big back is super important, I think, for a manly character. Um, so one of the things, uh, how did I get into that? The big back. Oh yeah, this repeating shape. I wanted to go back. That repeating shape comes back here, and there's another repeating shape that we'll see too, so that's why I'm not drawing it. The other repeating shape is this shape, this kind of shape. So you're gonna see it first in his mask, obviously. And this drawing's gonna be super rough because I'm not trying to, I'm just trying to illustrate these points, and yeah, I don't want to spend time like trying to make it all nice and stuff like that. You guys can. It's not really the point of this video, I guess is what I'm saying. So look at this. You got this, boom, spikes, spiky and dark. Okay. Um, and look at this thick neck too, connecting to the back. It's almost like the back goes into the neck. See what I mean? It's like, oh, huge. And then check this out. One of the main things, one of the main like I feel like the character, um, like the spirit of Wolverine is that he's dangerous. You know what I mean? He's a dangerous guy. So, spiky, and one of the recurring motifs I see in his outfit is spikes. Pointy, obviously his claws, but in his outfit there's a lot of pointy parts. And I think subconsciously, obviously spikes are associated with danger. Swords, thorns, um, stingers, like spiky things are usually something you want to avoid and are associated with danger. So your subconscious is going to pick that up. All these spiky forms here, 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 here. His arms coming down. He's got his claws. There, boom, spiky. Okay. Oops, these are terrible. Alright, well, it's okay. Okay, big back here, coming around, boom, boom, boom. And I like how they threw this belt in here. It's just a touch of red. There's nothing else on his outfit that's red, which is interesting. Because everything else is repeated. The blue, the yellows, obviously, and the blacks. I guess these are blacks. Oh, here's some more spikes. Spikes, spikes. Boom. He's a scary fella. He's really spiky. I think his original design's on a tiger or something like that, which is very cool. And that's another thing I'm noticing a lot in the designs that are like the most iconic, is that they have like they're based on something in real life. So the first thing I did, the first uh, thing in the series was about Pikachu, and he's kind of like a rabbit mouse creature. I think he's electric mouse technically. So I think that contributed because we can relate to that creature, and we have already some emotional connection or attachment or feelings to it, and we can imagine what it's like to be around it. Here, our subconscious might be picking up tiger, like majestic, powerful, dangerous, kind of unpredictable. You don't know if a tiger's going to attack you or just walk by. They're not supposed to want to attack people, but they could. Same thing with Wolverine, and so he's got. So yeah, that's about the spikes and stuff. Now getting back to the belt, you can see that it's the only red thing, and red's a very like aggressive, um, like powerful color, signifying either stop, like danger, stop, or action or passion. So it also fits his character, which so I think it's a great touch. Um, yeah, really great touch there. So and then he's got these little claw things. Let me see if I have some other stuff. Oh, the last thing I was gonna. Oh, okay. So there's two more things I'll talk about. First off, the contrast. That also signifies things that are high contrast in nature. Usually signify that they're dangerous. Like poison arrow frogs have these really bright markings to show that they're poisonous, and like he's the color of a wasp or a bee. Those are dangerous creatures to sting you. So bright colors contrasting against dark, it says danger. It also sticks out. It's very it's like watch out for me. So he's got that going on, which is also reinforcing the strength of his uh, um, the like costume, like reinforcing his personality, which is super important in design. His costume is telling his story. That's what I keep coming across. Story is essential, and I'll have to go more into that and study it myself and share with you guys what my findings later on. Um, but yeah. So, and the last thing I'll say is that there's often repetitions of three. So here we got one, two, three of this kind of shape. Um, Here you got three stripes on the sides. Three is a great number in design. I don't know why it just works. Three claws, and especially since has the repetitive, the threes going on, within his own design. But I think odd numbers usually work better in designs than even ones. Not sure why. That's just I'll have to look into that more and let you guys know. But yeah. So those are my thoughts on Wolverine and why he's such an awesome character and so iconic and memorable. And yep, so that's it. God bless and stay fantastic, everyone.